everybody and welcome back to my channel and to another episode of Craftoween. Now for today's video I'm going to be making some berets. I have some felt appliques on them and I've got 3 already finished here so you can see what they look like. That one, this one. That looks rude that way around, doesn't it? Now I've seen these berets popping up here, there and everywhere at the moment, so I thought it's a pretty simple, easy craft to do for Halloween, so why not give it a go? I don't know whether you can trust me though, because I don't know whether this lipstick is genius or a terrible idea. Maybe don't trust my judgment. Now I already filmed this video, which is why I have these 3 beautiful finished products already, and unfortunately the footage corrupted, so I had to bin that off and then start again, so that's why we're here today. But now we're heavily into the month of October, I thought if you wanted a quick Halloween craft to do, and you don't have to just do this on hats either, you could do it on all sorts of bits and bobs. All you need to do this is a pair of scissors, some PVA glue and something that you want to stick some felt onto, and a couple of sheets of felt. Now, because I am a bit of a neon goth, I went with a few different colours, neon hues. So these are the different coloured felts that I picked to stick on the hats. And because I'm a bit of a beret fiend as well and I really like wearing them, I ended up buying quite a few berets. So for today I'm going to use this colour because I think that looks not Halloweeny at all, but I want to make it kind of like cute, kitschy Halloweeny. I promise I'll stop saying Halloweeny soon. So to make your template for your felt, what you could do is find the image that you want online and then just print it out from there and then draw around it. I'm quite happy that the shape I'm going to do today is going to be relatively easy for me to draw, so I'm going to just sketch it out on the sheet of felt, just go for it basically, and then cut it out from there and then stick it onto the hat. For me, I'm quite lucky to have actually a couple of finished products because you can see what they look like. Now this is just completely stuck down with PVA glue. I haven't sewn this at all. Depending on how good your sewing skills are, you don't actually need any sewing skills to be able to do this. You can just stick it on with some PVA glue and it will stick quite nicely. This one, because it's slightly bigger, it has got a bit of a gap, so I can stick that back down, and you can tell with the PVA it's got a little bit of a shine to it, and I think that's because I did literally douse this bit of felt in PVA. But for something like this one, it hasn't got any shine to it at all, so if you're a little bit more delicate with it than I was, then you could probably do this without the PVA showing up and it would stick just fine and you wouldn't have to sew it at all. It does take quite a while to dry, so depending on how quickly you want it done, if time is not of the essence, then I would say just stick it on with a bit of PVA and it will stick fine. These won't be coming off anytime soon. Easy peasy. Now I think for today's colours, that's quite cool together. I want it to be like creepy in style, but not necessarily like strictly Halloween. I've already made a couple of Halloweeny ones, so for today's one I'm just going to make it cute and creepy. So to begin with, I'm just going to sketch out what I want on this sheet of felt and then go ahead and cut it out. So I'm just going to do that now. Now you can use any pen to do this. It's best if you've got like a felt tip, really. Bear in mind that when you cut out your design, it is going to be flipped, so just be aware of that when you're drawing it. So for example, if you're doing lettering, you're gonna want to draw it backwards because you don't want the lines of what you've just drawn on the front of your design. Just be aware of that when you're designing it. Okay, so I think for this I'm gonna go for just a couple of bats because, as I said, I want it to be cute and creepy. So I'm just gonna do like a few different sizes of bats and then stick those down onto the hat. So I'm just freehanding these because they really don't need to, they just need to be a shape. You don't need detail at all because they've just got to stand out as a shape and that's it. I'm going to do a few different sizes. So I kind of want them to be a bit like those 70s swallows, increase in size. I'm going to have one big main bat and then 2 smaller bats, I think. So how are you guys finding your Halloween plans in lockdown? Because I'm confused as to what to do at the moment. There's a few online things that are happening. I think those might be quite good fun. We're going to a socially distanced and COVID safe cinema screening of The Shining, so that will be fun, but actual in-person events this year are not happening, and as it looks in the UK we might be going into a second lockdown pretty quickly, so I don't even know if those will be going ahead because we're kind of getting towards the time where they might be cancelled, so we'll have to see about that. So maybe online stuff is the way to go. I've seen that some people are going to the Fright Nights at things like Thorpe Park and Chessington and stuff and Alton Towers. And they look quite fun, but people that have gone to them have said that they're not as scary, which is kind of what my thought was. I didn't think things would be particularly that scary when you're like miles away from somebody jumping out and going boo. It's not the same, is it? You need that scare of somebody being super close. Okay, right, that's my 3 bats done. I'm not particularly keen on this one, so I might redraw that one. So I'm just gonna cut round the shape. Now, because I'm just making these for me, they don't need to be perfect at all. For example, that bat is never gonna win any competitions as the best bat ever, but it's gonna look quite cute on the hat, so it doesn't really matter. And I think if anything, sometimes it's actually quite nice that things look a little bit handmade. It's okay, I'm gonna try and trim him into shape so he looks a bit better. I think that'll sort of do. There's something not quite right about the back of his wing. Near enough. So here we have our 3 different sized batties. I shall now commence sticking them on. So for this, I have PVA that handily has a applicator already on the top of it. So PVA glue is good for this, or if you have a fabric glue, then that would be good as well, but PVA will work perfectly fine. Now I'm just gonna work out where I want to place the bats on my hat. Because berets have this like sticky out bit in the middle, the little nubbin, you kind of got to be careful to work around that really. I think I'm going to layer them just sort of like that, I think. I might move them around a little bit more. I want to be careful to not put them too far over the front because that's where it's going to come down onto like the back of your head or the front of your head. Okay, so I think I've got them in my final arranged place now. I'll try and hold it up slightly for you so you can see, but I don't want them to fall off. So I'm gonna coat them now in glue and then stick them down onto the hat. I'm gonna put the beret came with like this cardboard holder, so I'm gonna put that back in on the inside because I want it to stay nice and stretched out for this. So I'm just going to take my glue now and add that to the back of each of these. So I'm going to start with the biggest one first and make sure that he's in the right place. So I'm just gonna lightly douse this with plenty of PVA. So I'll just hold that up so you can see how much PVA is on there, quite a bit. And then I'm just gonna use the applicator that's on this and spread it out, being careful to not get it over the rest of the hat, but don't worry too much if you do, it's not the end of the world. You can always pick those little bits off as long as you don't get like a huge bit on it. And then you'll notice that the glue will start disappearing into the felt, and don't be tempted to completely oversaturate the felt because otherwise it will come up shiny. And make sure you get it right down onto the edges as well because you want those edges to stick nice and strong as well. Okay, so that's piece number 1 done, and now I'm just going to continue and stick on the rest of them. So that's all the bats stuck down. As you can see, I've possibly oversaturated that one just a little bit too much, so there's a bit of glue that's sunk through it, but I'm sure it will dry, I'm sure it'll be fine. So I'm gonna cover this now in the plastic that it came in and put a heavy book on top of it and then leave it to dry overnight, and then that'll be it all finished. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Craftoween. I'm sure there might possibly be another episode before Halloween is over, so make sure that you subscribe to the channel so you can keep up with those when they come out. Leave me a comment down below if you plan to make one of these yourself, and if you do, I'd love to see how it turns out, so do make sure that you tag me on Instagram. And other than that, thank you for watching today, and I will see you guys next time. So make sure that you've subscribed to the channel so you know. So make sure... Got teeth.